Adamu joining us here on RT International. Great to see you. A very good evening, sir. You know the story. These announcements by Ukraine and Russia could mean that basically any ship in the Black Sea could be considered a military target. How seriously do you take those warnings from Kiev and Moscow?
It's actually very serious and difficult. This grain deal is the only deal that is able to sustain the global food supply despite the high level of food inflation all over the world, especially from the global south. So a situation whereby a UN brokered deal breaks down and there is no any structure of ameliorating this problem, I think it's like the whole world is going to face a serious rising high cost of living. You can see clearly it's happening all over the world, even in Kenya, a lot of riots on the street. These are the situations that the world is going to face, and it's a serious issue. And it's very clear, based on what President Putin said, the president of the Russian Federation, it is clear that the Russian Federation always held its own side of the bargain. It is the collective West that don't hold their own side of the bargain, thereby putting the whole world in a great difficulty at this situation.
Well, so Putin has said this, and yet the Western political establishment, the Western press say it's Russia. Russia is starving the impoverished nations of the world. But as you just said, Mr. Garba, it's Russia that's been trying to make the whole deal work, but all the time asking for Western partners to fulfill their commitments, which they have de facto failed to do since the beginning of the grain initiative. Adamu, let me ask you this. We see these concerns. There are vocal concerns from the West about possible Russian attacks on civilian ships in the Black Sea, yet no reaction after Kiev has made the similar threat of taking out a ship in the Black Sea. Why is the West concerned about Moscow but not concerned about their friends in Kiev?
It's a clear double standard of Western foreign policy initiatives. It's always full of double standard. When it favors them, it is good. When it doesn't favor them, it is bad. Just look at this grain deal. When this grain deal was going very well, the West were somewhat a little bit quiet about it. Why? Because they are the great beneficiaries of the grain deal. 97% of the grain deal that gets out of the Black Sea goes to the Western countries. Only 3% come to the global south where it is needed much more. But the fact that now the grain deal is stopped, they know that they are going to face serious pressure. Food inflation is going to rise in the West. The 97% of the grain that they used to get will now stop flowing. That's why they come out, Russia is bad, Russia is this, Russia is this. Putin is this, Putin is this, simply because it doesn't favor them anymore. And the same threat that Russia issued, that if there is any ship that is passing through the Black Sea, will be considered a military cargo and will be shut down. Ukraine made the same threat. They are blaming Russia and they are silent on Ukraine. It's a clear double standard nature of Western system, which is why the world needs a multipolar order that we can now align in order of our priorities based on our culture of truth and sincerity, as opposed to the culture of propaganda and deceit that has held the whole world to ransom and impoverished so much of the global south, particularly African countries.
Yeah, I think you make a very fair point there, Adamu. Essentially, when it comes to this multipolarity, this new multipolar world order, and you've got delegations from Africa, from Latin America, from the ASEAN, from the global south, they've all put together their own peace proposals for Ukraine, but Kiev consistently says no to all of them. Adamu Garba, Nigerian politician, thanks for joining us. We'll see you soon.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.